Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Cambodia Policy Dialogue on national TV. Today I have a pleasure to have two old friends, old in age, old in time. Anthony, we know each other for a long time, Casey, the same thing, but I think I could say that you two are the what's the word to describe, because you've been here for so long. You're the anchor. You're the anchor of Cambodia, American expatriate who settled in Cambodia and who understood Cambodia development for all these years. And that's why I'm so pleased that I have both of you in my panel today. From different perspective. Anthony, you're a very sharp businessman. You sit on so many boards. And Casey, you have the most successful, school, accounting, auditing school, the best in Cambodia. I must say, on the record, you're the best school. Many of your students, wow, they graduate, wow, they pass a test in London, everything. Some are in 100%, right? It's unthinkable that your school are able to produce a quality student. But also you have you chair, you're the president of the AmCham. Anthony, you used to be, and you're going to rerun again.
Probably.
It's okay,
Current vice president?
Yeah. But we have an opportunity to have a good discussion, particularly on the recent, agreement that Cambodia have, signed with the U.S. on the Cambodia-US Reciprocal Tariff Agreement, trade. And there's a lot of good things arising from that. So I'm just want to say thank you for accepting the invitation to come and share. But all along for the last nearly a year, I see both of you travel extensively to the U.S., with Excellency Sun Chantor, with Minister Cham Nimol. You're very supportive of Cambodia government lobbying, in a way, the U.S. government to secure this deal. So anyway, Casey?
Well, it's my pleasure, and today we're talking about reciprocal tariffs.
Yes.
We actually saw it coming because we saw the announcements regarding a reciprocal tariff in late January and being repeated in February, so we anticipated it. But what we did not anticipate is we did not anticipate that Cambodia would be given a reciprocal tariff of 49%. So 49% tariff, that would absolutely destroy Cambodia's manufacturing sector, with 38% of Cambodia's exports going to the U.S. And that day, I stayed up. The day was April 2nd in the U.S. In Cambodia, we're ahead, so it was April 3rd.
Yeah.
I stayed up until 3 a.m. on April 3rd to watch the announcement by Trump, and he held up the card, and at the top of the card was Cambodia, 49%. And we had never heard Trump say the name of the country Cambodia in public ever. The first time he mentions the name of Cambodia was and he actually laughed, Cambodia, 49%. And so it was very frightening for us. So immediately, the very next day, Anthony, myself, and a small team from the American Chamber of Commerce, we immediately wrote a letter to the Prime Minister, to the Deputy Prime Minister, Anpon Monirot, to ask for a meeting, to give recommendations, to immediately respond. And very fortunate, by 3 p.m. the very same day, we had a meeting at the Ministry of Economy and Finance with Secretary of State Pan Pala.
Yeah.
And in that meeting, our advice was based on analysis of past negotiations regarding GSP and other trade agreements and trade disputes with the U.S. Our analysis was respond quickly, and the outcome will be no worse than responding late.
Yeah.
And when you respond quickly, the outcome will not be worse, but there are some advantages.
Yeah.
You get your foot in the door, you are heard. So we encourage a fast response, and we actually encourage the ultimate outcome. At that point, we encourage to remove tariffs even before that day, we encouraged to remove tariffs on all U.S. goods. But the Cambodian government was concerned that Cambodia has other trading partners.
Yeah.
And so if Cambodia gives preferential treatment to the United States,
Yeah.
then the EU, Japan, and Korea, they're also going to demand removal of tariffs. And so
MFN.
and also Cambodia, for so many years, for 25 years, had been so committed to the World Trade Organization
yeah.
and the obligations of fair treatment under the WTO rules. And so it's very understandable that Cambodia didn't want to violate the WTO rules. And at that time, we assisted in drafting a list of HS codes where the U.S. is the main manufacturer, really of a lot of random products, almonds, school buses, frozen French fries, frozen chicken wings. And so we gave a list of products where, because there are few competitors to the U.S., Cambodia could offer a 0% tariff to the U.S., and if other trading partners asked for also a 0% trading tariff for those HS codes, it wouldn't impact, if Cambodia extended that to other countries, it wouldn't really impact Cambodia's customs revenue. And unfortunately, it wasn't good enough. But just within a week, the U.S. gave all countries a period of time to respond. But Cambodia, under the leadership of the Prime Minister Hun Manet, and also the quick action of Deputy Prime Minister Sun Chanto, engaged the U.S. Trade Representative very quickly.
37 hours.
Yes. And
Not even 48 hours.
And we remember the public letter, two letters, one from Prime Minister Hun Manet, very quickly sent directly to President Trump, and the second from the Minister of Commerce to the U.S. Trade Representative, Jameson Greer. And within the same month, I personally went to Washington, D.C., a couple weeks later, and I made my case to the American people, and including an appearance on CNN, media, a number of media outlets to try to spread the word that to avoid the misunderstanding, because yes, Cambodia does have a huge trade surplus with the United States, but it's because Cambodia doesn't have the purchasing power to buy American goods. So they're only the typical Cambodian can't afford an American Ford Explorer or GMC Yukon. So just the cost of American products is normally out of the reach of Cambodia. And the tariffs, who it hurts the most is the poor garment workers. And those in the garment industry, poor mothers who are just getting by to pay for their families' food and medicine and healthcare and taking care of their parents. It really would have been devastating to hundreds of thousands, if not 1 million or more people. And we were getting that message out. And then in July, Anthony and myself, we went at our own cost. This is all, we're spending our own money to do this. At our own cost, we went to Washington, D.C. We met a number of Department of Commerce officials. We met with a number of representatives, mostly Republican, and we met a number of Republican senators. And in those discussions, I'll let Anthony share his viewpoint, but in those discussions, what I was looking for was, what does the U.S. really want? Because there was a lot of uncertainty. Cambodia is a small country. Cambodia is a poor country. Why is America picking on Cambodia? Is there something behind this? Do they want something else? Is it do they want to get closer militarily? Is it a crime? Is it human rights issues? What exactly is it? And I asked everybody, what does Cambodia need to do to lower that reciprocal rate? And the response that I received was consistent, that this rate, and to lower the rate, the key point is to address the trade imbalance. And no one said anything about Ream Naval Base. No one said anything about other issues. So it was really a consistently they recommended that we address the Cambodia's surplus with the U.S. And this was a message we were able to convey back to Cambodia.
Yeah.
And again, we encouraged the removal of the tariffs on U.S. goods. And that offer was made as well as ongoing negotiations with the Cambodian negotiating team. But that offer was made approximately July 17. And July 17, Cambodia had a really good offer for the U.S. We were expecting an announcement. I was checking the news every day. Is there going to be a new announcement by Trump to say that another country has fell in line with his demands? But it didn't come. And within a few days, Cambodia was invaded by Thailand. And I realized that it would be hard because Thailand is a treaty ally of the United States.
Treaty ally.
It would be very and Thailand had made no progress at all in the trade negotiations. It would be very hard for Cambodia in the middle of a war with Thailand to award Cambodia a favorable tariff because it would signal maybe something else, a bias, and that's what happened. There was no announcement, but thank God that Trump used this opportunity to basically, in my opinion, pressure Thailand because Thailand, they are the ones who invaded Cambodia, and Thailand is also the country that hadn't made any progress in the trade negotiations. So there was really an opportunity for Trump to pressure Thailand on both points to
and reward Malaysia.
Yes, and to reward Malaysia
as a chair ASEAN.
Yes. And so we see that at the end of July, there was a ceasefire, and there was a commitment
to lower
the rates. And but Cambodia, Malaysia, and Thailand all awarded the 19%, which now is lower than Vietnam and lower
Bangladesh.
And lower than India. I think India is at 25%. So Cambodia came out on top, came out with some advantages, and we're seeing some of the results of the advantages. We see that this year, 2025, despite all the hardships, the exports to the U.S. have increased by 28%. And if you look at certain product categories, tires and rubber products have increased 150%. Shoes have export of shoes to the U.S. from Cambodia has increased by 50%, and then garments around 27, 28%. But the handbags, they have only grown by 6%. So we see, and cashews, some agricultural products increasing at 2,000%. So some promising signs, and I think 2026 is going to be a good year for Cambodian exports. And we have a resilient manufacturing sector here in Cambodia, a lot of advantages, and I think it's going to be growing year by year.
Anthony.
Great synopsis. Hard to talk after that, but first I'd like to say back to what you mentioned about us being supportive. The American Chamber of Commerce has always been supportive of Cambodian government and balancing the U.S. relationship. Casey and I have been here a long time. Casey, more than 20-something years?
27 years.
27 years. Myself, 18. We've done some quite amazing things as a Chamber of Commerce. One of the things I'm really proud of is return of the statues and being very involved in that. The statues with Brad, and also having the Prime Minister to be at that time at our EGM, and that was a big charity event where we raised a lot of money and to support the return of the statues, and that fight goes on. So, but we were one of the things we've done as a chamber in terms of supporting the government and supporting really the country. So I always say we're not citizens, but we're citizens in spirit. So that's for sure. In terms of the, I guess now the trade agreement, I think a lot of people sometimes are puzzled way things were actually evolved in terms of behavior and the way we treated other countries. There's a lot of logic in policy to me. The trade imbalances that we are running, which is over $1 trillion, is not a sustainable economic policy for the United States.
Yeah,
And the fact that the president has addressed that, I think was very much timely and needed.
Yeah.
You know, we're a $30 trillion economy. We have the largest consumer economy in the world. That's some leverage that we like to use. We have the largest demand as a consumer economy in the world. And I think the president saw long term that this would not be a sustainable model to be running these trade imbalances, offshoring a lot of our manufacturing. One of the, to back up a little bit, one of our strengths during the World War II was our ability to actually manufacture at a outpacing, you know, our allies and our enemies.
Yeah.
And one of the concerns is what happens when you lose your whole manufacturing capability and it's offshore. So he does want to bring back manufacturing. He doesn't want to address trade imbalances. He wants to address trade barriers. There is a lot of trade protection amongst our trading partners. Europe, for instance, with autos, protecting their auto industry. China, you could argue, subsidizes a lot of their industries. And so we needed to address fairness, having trade fairness rather than free trade. And I think President Trump did a very good job of when he launched the policy. Now, his policy is a little bit of shock and awe, and that's the way he's. I'm from New York, so President Trump and I go back a long time in terms of our linkages. I came from New York, and President Trump was Donald Trump at the time, the real estate magnate. So I lived through his time in New York and New Jersey, and now he's president. So the way he does things is very different, obviously, than presidents of the past, and I think sometimes that obviously rubs people the wrong way. And they have to adjust to him rather than you know, him adjusting to them. So the execution may have been a little bit more shocking to nations, how he's done this. But I think the policy of addressing these economic issues was critical. So as Casey said, in terms of Cambodia, it actually has been beneficial. And I had said that actually tariffs have benefited Cambodia. And people think I'm crazy. Crazy in that 29% increase, or 28% increase in exports to the U.S. Now, I think, Dr. Siphana, we're going to have to address the concentration issue. We can't be 45% in one market. This is unsustainable. And this is something, you know, I've been saying, I'm sure you've been saying for years, that you can't have this concentration risk with one market. And if you put the EU there, it's then becomes 70% almost. So that's and 96% increase in exports from the U.S. into Cambodia. So that trade relationship, while still highly imbalanced, is directionally going both ways very positively. So the China plus one policy of nations really worried about the tariffs on China and using Cambodia as a base at the 19% rather than the whatever these Chinese tariffs are. They're very volatile depending upon the products and how the president feels during the day. That Cambodia has really benefited. And I'll only just say in closing on that, I'm worried, one, on the concentration risk, but I'm also worried about Cambodia's manufacturing capability long term. Low complexity manufacturing is competing with African nations, South American nations. So I've been imploring, you know, on the speech pad, please try to change from low complexity to really more high tech. Because our neighbors, and I say this a lot, while we're all in ASEAN, we're all a family, they're competitors. And if we want to compete with Vietnam and Indonesia and Taiwan, we have to change our model from low complexity.
You know, Casey, I couldn't help but to mention on the 4th April, that was 2 days after President Trump announced the so-called Liberation Day, I happened to drive by Vinh Sanh Road, where all the government worker there. It's 5 o'clock Saturday. You know, the worker leave the factory, they buy chicken, ice cream, chit-chatting, all these younger, right? And I happened to drive with my wife. And I couldn't help but to tell my wife, I say, look, honey, You know, you look at all these girls. They just leave the factory. They're happy, you know, chit-chatting, eating. But do you know that maybe next week when they go to work, their factory could be closed? And that thought alone saddened us. But thank God, I have to say that we have to thank President Trump for stepping in, to help at least buy us time on this peace process. And we have the best deal, 19%. Of course, Thailand 19%. But because we're the first country who signed the U.S.-Cambodia Reciprocal Trade Agreement, Reciprocal agreement on reciprocal trade. Bit confusing. We are ahead of the game. We are ahead of the game, and that's why what you mentioned, the statistic that you mentioned, is awesome. Because people don't remember the number 2, number 3. They remember the number 1. So from a doomsday scenario to now to a boom day scenario. So I would say this is something I would say I got to give credit to my Prime Minister for being quick to react. We didn't wait. He reacted in 37 hours, not even 48 hours. Say, look, we have to engage the U.S. And later on, I happened to meet some Laotian colleagues, and they were nowhere. They didn't even bother sending people. And they say, look, and I say, you guys better, go to U.S., yeah? And they say, okay, we will. But, it's a bit, 4 months later, it's a bit late.
Right.
It's a bit late, and look what happened to Laos.
Yes.
So I think in that case, we made the right move. We continue to negotiate, and we have a good deal, I would say. But let's go granular a bit. In terms of what we got, what we give, right? So we got from the U.S. 19%, but there's other product that we got zero tariff also. And then from the U.S., of course, it's all zero. But we have to look from the opportunity that when you bring the good at zero tariff, it becomes very competitive for those who do business here.
Yeah, so the agreements with the U.S. give the potential for certain products from Cambodia that are not produced or grown in the U.S., and those are to receive a 0% tariff from the U.S.
Yes.
So those mainly include certain tropical fruits, pineapple, cashews, for example, bananas. So these products, there's a lot of potential, and we see the exports of cashew nuts to the U.S. just in the last year has increased more than 2,000%. So there's huge potential for Cambodia's agricultural industry. And the U.S. receives 0% tariff on U.S.-made goods coming into Cambodia. And not only that, but receives some reciprocal acceptance of product licensing, such as licensing of electronics by the U.S. FCC, licensing and phytosanitary certification by the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
For cheese.
Yes, and certification of medicine from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. And so the idea is that this will fast track American technology, American medicine, and certain American food products to reach the Cambodian market. And if we think about technology, that's great for Cambodia because now American technology can reach Cambodia more cheaply and faster. Cisco, for example, Cisco technology is being used to operate the new airport. And there's technology that can support telecommunications, bank infrastructure, data centers, and for medicine, medical equipment. So it's an opportunity for Cambodia to have more high quality, affordable, because the U.S. really moving out of the production of generic medicines. They're more of a higher quality, more effective, high-tech medication. Hopefully that can reach Cambodia and Cambodian people to improve health here.
So I think it's from that perspective, it will make us more competitive, and also it help the strata of consumer that they can get something much cheaper, yeah, and higher quality. And that's to me you mentioned so many sector there. I mean, it's the power to impact on the social economic is tremendous.
And American farmers don't grow what Cambodian farmers do.
Yeah.
And the American pharmaceutical companies are not making medicine that Cambodia makes.
Yeah.
So we're really not a competitor. So
Yeah.
American products are not competing with
You're
Cambodian
competing with
products.
other countries.
That's right.
For the benefit
That's
of the
right.
consumer here.
I'm happy to see the Boeing planes as
Yeah.
well, which
Yes.
is the development of the aviation sector,
Yeah.
which is one of our biggest exports globally. You were able to also with petroleum products
Yeah.
because you had to reset your supply
Yes, yes.
with the conflict. U.S. one of our largest, if not our largest export, is petroleum. We're the largest producer of petroleum in the world by far.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, only second to Russia and then third Saudi Arabia. So there's a lot more to do. Again, hopefully Cambodia starts doing more equipment, especially the high-tech equipment, and maybe more on the financial services. This is something I would really like to see.
Okay, okay.
Where we don't have one bank or insurance company here,
Yeah.
or a fund manager. Which, if you
Oh.
go to Singapore or Hong
Yeah,
Kong,
yeah,
you'll
yeah.
see American banks and fund managers and insurance companies all over. So we really, as your financial sector develops, love to see more American.
But this agreement could trigger that.
I hope so. I mean, I've been a really
Yeah,
big
yeah.
proponent of developing our capital markets.
Yes, yeah.
So
You used to be with Citibank.
Yes, for 17 years.
17 years, yeah.
with Citibank. So that's another maybe hidden sector we haven't thought about to start joining here in Cambodia, seeing more financial services.
Yeah. I think for me there's a whole psychological impact behind this, just the sector, the number you mentioned, right? It's a psychological dimension because from that agreement, there's other area in the defense industry. The U.S. have lifted the restriction. Now we see we have more naval visit to Ream base as recent as a few days ago. But these are psychological impact that you see a rapprochement, a closing in a bit of relation with the U.S., which to me is very important in terms of building up our capacity. Our youth, for example, to be accepted to U.S. university, for example. Your student could go do a postgraduate in the U.S. But these
they
are
do,
very
yeah.
important, very important.
And I think that the diversification away from the U.S., in my opinion, we should go the other way. Cambodia should try to sell as much as possible to the U.S.
Yes, yes.
And the more the better.
Yeah.
And if we look at history, sometimes certain countries make alliances. They choose the wrong alliance, and it has economic consequences. And right now we have a choice to embrace the U.S. The U.S. has extended its hand to Cambodia.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful opportunity for Cambodia to grow with the American economy. And Excellency, as you mentioned, on November 6th of 2025, the U.S. Lifted the arms embargo,
Yes.
so now there can be closer military ties, military equipment purchased by Cambodia. And if we look at Cambodia's markets, EU,
Yeah.
compared to the U.S., in the year 2000, the U.S. and the EU had a similar per capita GDP. But in 2025, the per capita GDP in the U.S. is 83,000, whereas the per capita GDP in the EU is only 43,000. So
Doubling.
the American economy is just growing so quickly and rapidly with such a high level of consumption, it really gives an opportunity for Cambodian manufacturing and export manufacturing.
You know, on my way back from Davos, I was sitting next to a guy from Levi. I say, who you work with? He said, he wear Levi. So he's a quality control Levi company. I said, well, I should have wear jeans today. But it's a good sign, it's a good sign. that they're sending the quality control people to come to Cambodia. Very low key, but it's there, right? So I think it's to me the U.S. Have tremendous soft power. I mean, let's face it, in Hollywood, in movie, in Netflix, music, education, the soft power U.S. is unrivaled.
I think for U.S. investment, I think of it sometimes as when I was a banker.
Yeah.
So the first thing you look at is sovereign risk
Yeah.
before you make your investment. Is that country investable?
Hmm.
And then you go beyond that. One of the things I think that's very positive is the transformation of the U.S.
Yeah.
relationship,
Yeah.
which has been very positive, especially with Prime Minister
Yeah.
Barnett. I think we talk the same language
Yeah.
More than we did in the past.
Yeah.
And Cambodia is classically great at hedging its
Yeah.
relationships. So there's more of a movement from unilaterally,
Yeah.
what I think the U.S. perceived, to more of a bilateral relationship with the superpowers. And I think that's very positive. So I think you'll begin to see more U.S. investment
Yeah.
as that relationship becomes more dependable, sustainable.
Yes.
And everything Cambodia is doing directionally is positive.
Yeah. I mean, Chevrolet is setting up a ASEAN-based production. Charles River, this big pharmaceutical thing, it's $500 million, right? Investment.
To happen.
It's
Look,
amazing.
we're the largest FDI.
Yeah.
Our stock market, for instance, is $61 trillion. So just one stock is larger
Yes.
than parts of the whole world.
Yes.
So we're something to reckon with economically. And
Yeah.
you really, I've been hearing the story of the death of the American economy for years, but we're at 30 trillion,
Yeah.
and China is at 19.
Yeah, you're right.
So
It's
this
a big,
whole
big, yeah.
first I heard when I was growing up that Japan was going to
Yeah.
overtake the American
Yeah.
economy.
It didn't
I grew up
happen.
with that.
Yeah.
And now as I get older with my gray hair, I'm
Yeah.
hearing that China's going to
China,
do
yeah,
it.
but-
And I actually don't believe it. I think put your bets on the U.S.
I think the strength of the U.S. economy is their, the intellect, the entrepreneurship, and that's why I think it's so important that, because Cambodia youth is, I would say, 60% below 30, right? Technology, e-commerce, innovation, all this are in their mind, Maybe not for us because we're a bit age, but for the young one, that's the future. That's the future. How do we enable this inflow of zero tariff, good in electronic, in technology, to come to Cambodia, to enable the young one to make it as their source of growth, their source of opportunity and everything. E-commerce is a good one,
The greatest long-term driver of the economy is going to be increases in productivity.
Yes.
So it's capital, productivity, and people. So sustainable growth is going to come from increases in productivity. And
But it's good to have capital productivity to
Yes.
support the
Yes.
human capital.
Yes. Like you said, the technology is important. We need to empower and enable the new generation to utilize technology, to innovate, to be entrepreneurs. One obstacle, though, is regulation. Regulation can really stifle and slow down productivity. Regulation, for example, the Ministry of Post and Telecommunications has a Subdecree 110, which requires any device with a memory to be licensed. And the licensing process we receive as American Chamber of Commerce, we receive a lot of complaints about that licensing process, that it is an opaque process, it's an expensive process. And so when you have, and I met a Cambodian satellite scientist, and he said for years he's been trying to bring in technology to utilize satellite imaging of Cambodia, which would be very useful in a border conflict with Thailand, for example. He can't bring in the equipment because he can't get a license. So even Cambodians are suffering from not being able to get licensed products. There were some obstacles to getting equipment for the new airport. So really, there needs to be a revamp of licensing. There's a draft law on data protection, which requires a data center to be licensed. And the license is a maximum of 8 years. So who in the world is going to spend $1 billion
to do
a data center that
Yeah,
can only be
yeah.
licensed for 8 years?
Well, hopefully this agreement would help.
If we compare with the U.S. data center, there's no licensing requirement at all. You can go and start a data center immediately. You don't have to ask anyone's permission. So, but Cambodia's some regulators are putting in place a number of regulations, kind of slowing things down. So Cambodia is at a point where Cambodia has to consider, should we take the highly regulated European route where we're going to grow the economy slowly,
Yeah.
but we're going to protect everybody? Or are we going to let people take risks on their own and have faster growth? Is it the deregulated American model that we're going to follow, or is it going to be the highly regulated European model? And I think the deregulated model is going to be what we need, because economic growth is not only about people's living standards, putting food on the table, but we see with this invasion of Thailand, the economy also is essential for sovereignty.
Yeah.
Thailand wouldn't dare to invade Cambodia if Cambodia had a comparable economy.
Yes, yeah.
So I think we really need to remove a lot of regulations and seek faster economic growth.
I do agree with you. Regulation is different than strangulation.
Yes.
We tend to confuse between the two. See?
As,
We over-regulate it.
His Excellency Chantal says the government works best when it's sleeping, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, to the point, this is where the chambers and the embassies and the other governments come in. We're very much driven by advocacy, and Casey will agree with this. Their Cambodian government is so open to dialogue. We have the working groups. We have the regular meetings with the CDC and a whole host of ministries with the embassy and the American Chamber of Commerce. They do it with the European, the Chamber of Commerce. They're doing it with other chambers of commerce. So the Cambodian government does listen.
Yeah.
It does digest.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I think we've had great success with the tax department. As an example, with tax issues, that His Excellency Kang Vibol has done a great job of listening to the market, listening to companies, and what tax issues are, and adjusting.
Yeah.
Adjusting, well, balancing. I
Yeah,
would say
yeah.
he's not adjusting just because we say to adjust. He's balancing the country's interests with also the public's sectors, the private sector's interests as well. So one thing I would say, the Cambodian government is fantastic at listening, more than any country. I've worked in 5 countries and I had regional jobs all over the world, and I would say the Cambodian government is the most open government to listening to the private sector.
That I agree. That I concur with your assessment. We're very open. We're very, I would say, private sector friendly. Of course, there are micro cases, as you mentioned, for example, with telecom regulation, that sort of thing. But these are not unsurmountable. I mean, through dialogue, you can make a case. We say why they should not be regulated or should not go to that extent. It's a matter of engaging. But at least the mechanism for engagement exists. The Group D, right? Group D exists. So how do you push through the system, And once I had a chat with the agency, Monirat, and he said, brother, tell the private sector that the mechanism that the government have to listen is through the government-private sector forum. So go through that channel. Yes, you may not get a response right away, but, we will digest. And then at some point, we will come up with,
They've been very useful.
Yeah.
Very useful. I think especially on tax, where we've had some much more positive changes in the tax system where there were issues. And again, a credit to His Excellency Kang Vibol. Over these years, he has really done a fantastic job of listening to the market and again balancing.
Yes, indeed. Well, I mean, I think to me this agreement that we have signed, of course we have to ratify it, but it gave us a good momentum. Of course, there's issue of MFN, that sort of thing, but all in all, I would say it gave a lot of positive signal. Not only on the economic side, but on the political side, and this is very important. that the U.S. is reaching out for us after so many years that we sort of bit, distant a bit.
I just would say don't be short-sighted. I think there's the short term is going to be, as it has been already,
Yeah.
with the 29% increase
Yeah.
in exports. But again, with the low complexity manufacturing
Yeah,
economy, we can't say that this is going to be where we want to be in 5
Yeah, yeah.
years. And also AI will
Yeah.
probably dramatically change
Yeah.
in terms of productivity of what we're doing today.
Yeah, I think I take a good case of some initiative that is have quite a success story. Is David Van. He worked with the AmAsia, with TVET from Melbourne, and with the Ministry of Labour to establish this center for car training. People, technician there, and what he told me that once the car industry is, well trained, he will start looking at other industry. And again, it's about going up the ladder, the value chain ladder to do more complex mechanism. The Japanese are there, mini beer and everything, but it takes a while to build up the skill. But at least the intention is there, the mechanism is there. Yeah.
And we see a lot of industries, new industries. The tire industry is
Yeah.
an extremely high-tech
Yes.
product manufacturing process, and we see Cambodia in 2025 exported to the U.S. $1.1 billion of tires.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, these are tires that made from Cambodian latex.
That's right, and utilizing local latex.
Yes.
And what you're saying now is an opportunity to really be close with the U.S. I think this is. It's also important that Cambodia ratify
Yeah.
the agreement with the U.S. that the National Assembly
Yes.
approved, because we see recently President Trump has been calling out South Korea
Yeah.
for not ratifying
This morning.
it.
This morning.
And
This
so,
morning.
so we have signed an agreement, but when it's not ratified, it starts to, when time passes, a certain amount of time passes, it starts to look bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the reciprocal trade agreement is going to likely be invalidated by the U.S. Supreme Court. And the U.S. Supreme Court, they have certain dates for issuing opinions. And the earliest date that the U.S. Supreme Court could issue an opinion to invalidate the reciprocal tariffs is February 20th. And it's seen as a bit early.
Yeah.
The next is June 30. So if the Cambodian government is thinking, oh, let's wait to see what the Supreme Court does, it would have to wait until June 30, and by that time, it's just too long.
Too long,
It would
yeah.
really send a negative signal that Cambodia is
Yeah.
not cooperating.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the sooner that this agreement is ratified, the better. And there's no downside for Cambodia, because the when the reciprocal tariff is made illegal by the Supreme Court, U.S. Customs, they will no longer have any legal basis to collect a reciprocal tariff. So that 19% will be immediately removed.
Yeah.
So there's only an upside for Cambodia to ratify the agreement as soon as possible. And we know that the President Trump is actually getting ready to impose tariffs using other powers.
Other power. Yeah.
Temporary powers include section U.S. Code Section 201,
Yeah.
which gives the president the power to impose tariffs to address a trade imbalance.
Yes. That's it.
And Section 338, which is the power to impose tariffs for discrimination.
Yes.
Those two are temporary. And then there are more longer-term tariffs, 201 to protect national industry, and 232 for national security,
Yeah.
and then 301, which is also discrimination. Those take a while, because the U.S. to
Yes.
impose sanctions under these
They
other
have-
laws, they have to do some
They have to do
research,
investigations.
and when these other tariffs start to be imposed on countries, I think Cambodia will be treated favorably
Yeah. Yeah.
if it shows that it was cooperating,
Yes.
full-heartedly cooperating. And I think the strongest signal can be to ratify the agreement, because Cambodia and Malaysia signed on the same day.
Yeah.
But Cambodia could be the first in the world
That's
to
true.
officially ratify the agreement, and that will really stand out to President Trump.
Particularly when you know that they're gonna be substitute, whether you call whatever 201, 328, doesn't matter.
Right.
The point is that the 19 will be there.
That's right.
So you might as well just go along and take the credit for being the first one to ratify.
I think we were
I-
told,
I
we
agree
were
with
told
that.
in Washington that if the Supreme Court rules against the
Yeah.
tariffs, that
Yeah.
automatically day one they have these other tools that
Oh, yeah,
they'll
yeah.
use very
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah,
So they're very well prepared.
yeah, the IEEPA. Yeah, but it's there. I mean, whether it's that or the other tariff, the tariff is there. The number is there. So I think it's be a good move. But our government is working hard. We as we speak, Ministry of Commerce is working hard to translate it, and once translated, we'll send to the Council Minister. Once it arrives at Council Minister, it's a done deal. We just push through to Parliament. It's a top priority for the Cambodian government. So on that note, I think we should be seeing something very, very, very soon. Yeah, particularly with what's happening with South Korea.
Yes.
That's a major signal
Yes.
that if you sign, you have to ratify.
Yes.
But anyway, I think we, as always, the time is too short. And we're coming to the end of the program already. But I want to say, gentlemen, that it's been a pleasure to have you here to talk on a very specific topic, as specific as the agreement on reciprocal tariff. But I hope to invite you other time to discuss also other development aspect of it. Say, for example, relating to Cambodia graduation from the LDC. You also know that we are now in a process to join the CPTPP. My foreign minister have submitted the letter of intent already to the Minister of New Zealand, Foreign Minister of New Zealand, as a depository country. So I've been traveling extensively to lobby, all this country to endorse our candidature. But all these things mean one thing, that we are looking to open more market for Cambodia. It's a long haul, of course, but you got to start now. Because for a country development, 4 or 5 years blink an eye. Before you realize, you're here already. So I think the Prime Minister is very wise to ask me to take a lead on the CPTPP, which is more macro, which is more visionary. While at the same time, he tasked Minister Chandramouli to work on the operationalizing, how to export more rice, how to export more cashew, how to, So she's pushing at the operation level. I'm more upstream, I'm more vision, but how to set the stage for her to export more. And I've been tasked also to look at other markets like Central Asia, for example. What are the export potential? So it's a lot of work. But anyway, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to welcome you, and I hope to see you next time.
Excellency, thank you very much. It's our pleasure, and we're very proud and thankful for all of the hard work that you've provided.
If I may use the word reciprocal in this case,
Yeah.
you are very complimentary of us. Let me also thank you for all the wonderful things that you're doing for the country over the years that I've known you. You're getting more youthful and dynamic as you age, but the country is very lucky to have you.
Well, thank you. But with age come a lot of wisdom, and with wisdom come a lot of strength, and that's how I feel that whatever I can do it is the last stretch of my life, my last gesture for the country. It's a pleasure, but I have fun along the way. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming, unfortunately, to the end of the program. But as you can appreciate, our talk are very focused on the relation with the U.S., on the recent agreement that we signed, on President Trump intervention to help us bring the ceasefire and the peace accord. And recently, the Prime Minister, our Prime Minister, have agreed to join President Trump peace board. All these things matter for our country because we are reaching out to the U.S. as the U.S. reach out to us. We're building new friend. Well, it's not a new, but new market, new opportunity. And I think for the younger entrepreneur, the younger business people, the U.S. is a big market. So you all should take advantage to try to understand as much as you can on this new agreement and try to look for opportunity because the opportunity is there. But it's not going to come to you just like that. You must make a conscious effort to understand, what are the various sectors that we are importing zero duty, to allow the U.S. to come to our country, zero duty, but also what are the product, the sector that we can export to the U.S., zero duty. Of course, for the garment, footwear, they secure with the 19%. We are competitive because Vietnam is 20, Bangladesh is 20. We're okay. I'm not too worried about that sector, but I'm talking about the agriculture sector, for example, like you mentioned, cashew shoot up 2,000%. I mean, these are the opportunity. So again, these are an opportunity for us to work hard for that. So on that note, gentlemen, I thank you, and I see you next time.
Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you.
Thank you.